Today we are driving the 2025 Cadillac XT6 Premium Luxury, but as always, let me give you a brief tour of the car before we get it out on the road. Because this car hasn't had any major refresh, it is showing Cadillac's older design language. Starting with the key fob, it is Cadillac's older design, but you do have remote start, which is quite nice. The exterior is simple and subtle. You get fully LED headlights with a projector-style LED headlamp and accent lights at the bottom, and this is very premium because it actually lights up the side of the vehicle. There's a good-sized grille with some chrome accenting, and overall I would say this front end looks pretty stylish even in 2026. Moving to the wheels, there are multiple different wheel options you can choose from, but this model has the 20-inch split-spoke alloy wheels. There are body-colored wheel surrounds, a Cadillac crest, and some chrome trim at the bottom with XT6 branding. The mirrors will be fully loaded on this premium luxury model, including heating, blind spot monitoring, auto dimming, and power folding. Taking a step back to look at the side profile, this car is a pretty good size at 198 inches long. It fits in right with the other mid-sized luxury SUVs. The rear wheel and tire setup is the exact same as the front, and there's some chrome accenting on the door handles, which by the way do light up at night and surrounding the windows. Moving to the back, the Cadillac XT6 has a subtle and stylish design. I like how this XT6, especially compared to some of the competitors, doesn't go over the top when it comes to styling. At the bottom, there is a body-colored bumper and you can pop off the middle for a tow hitch. There is also dual exhaust, some chrome trim, XT6 branding, and fully LED taillights. I also like this chrome piece in between them and the wiper under the spoiler to prevent weathering. To open the trunk, there's a standard hands-free power tailgate, and that will open the trunk relatively slowly. Trunk space is just average in the XT6. Behind the third row, there is 12.6 cubic feet of space, which isn't amazing. There's also a cubby, a 12-volt outlet, and a good amount of storage space underneath the floor. If you need to separate some items from the rest of the cargo, this is a great place to do it. The third row is power folding, and when you fold down the third row, there is 43.1 cubic feet of space. You can also fold down the second row from the rear area, and when you do, you will find 78.7 cubic feet as a maximum. Those figures aren't bad for the segment, but the figure behind the third row is a little bit tight. Let's go ahead and see what the rear seats are like. To close the trunk, just push the button. All XT6s come standard with smart entry in all four doors, and when you open up the rear door, you will find a pretty nice door panel. There is soft touch plastic, wood trim, and a metal speaker grille on the upper area, but unfortunately no sunshades. There's a Cadillac crest on the door sill, and to get into the third row, you're just going to pull on this handle right here. That will fold the seat out of the way. Also, if you forget to fold up the third row seats, you don't have to go all the way around to the trunk to fold it up. You can just push these buttons right here and that will easily fold them up in no time. Now the third row isn't a terrible place to be, which is something I did not expect from this car. When you pull the seat back, you will find that you have a good amount of legroom and headroom, but the thigh support isn't amazing. I would say the third row is still only designed for kids. Amenities aren't terrible, however. You still have ceiling vents, cup holders, and a plastic armrest. I also don't want to forget the USB-C port, and these are some features that some competitors like the Acura MDX and Audi Q7 do not include at all. To get out of the third row, just pull on the same handle. But now let's go ahead and check out the second row because this is a lot better of a place to spend time. Getting in and out of the third row is not a terrible task at all, but keep in mind that you will have to uninstall a car seat. In the second row of the Cadillac XT6, there's a good amount of legroom and headroom even when the front seats slid all the way back. There's also a good sized seat back pocket and the back of the seat is finished in a soft touch leatherette. By the way, these seats are made of real leather and they are quite comfortable. They can also slide, recline, and they are heated. In this middle area, you will find your third zone of climate control, and below that, you will find 2 USB ports and some cup holders. Also, I want to mention that a bench seat is standard on this model, but you can pay $600 extra for captain's chairs. That brings the total seating capacity down to 6. So based on what I just experienced in the second and third rows, I would say for families of 4 or 5, this is definitely usable. But now let's go ahead and check out the front seats and see what it's like up there. The door panel is basically the same, but there is some more switchgear, of course, for the driver's side and 2-person memory seating. There is also more storage space, and the button to open the trunk is right here. In case you are in a tight area, you can limit how far the trunk opens by turning the knob. The seats are made of real leather and they have heating, ventilation, and 12 ways of power adjustment. Overall, I would say these are pretty comfortable. If you want semi-aniline leather, you will have to upgrade to the Platinum package. Unfortunately, massaging is not offered. Let's go ahead and start up the Cadillac XT6. I will say I definitely do not miss those chimes from older GM vehicles. The steering wheel is nicely wrapped and heated in its power adjustment and plastic paddle shifters. There is also some wood trim and aluminum accenting. The gauge cluster is a mix of an analog and digital setup. There is a little bit of customization for the middle display, like what information is being shown, but compared to the newer Cadillacs like the Vistic, this is nothing. There's also a head-up display, which is quite nice to see, and that is part of the technology package. As far as the main infotainment system is concerned, this is the older Cadillac software. However, it still works great and is super responsive. There is built-in navigation as well as wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. However, because this is the older Cadillac design, the screen is at a bit of an angle, which makes it hard to see in direct sunlight. Also, compared to the Vistic, which is going to replace this vehicle, the screen is pretty small. Also, the scroll wheel in the middle to control the main infotainment system does not fit the quality of what should be in a Cadillac. For the climate controls, you can control from the screen or you can use these physical buttons down here. I prefer the buttons, but for the heated and ventilated seats, it is kind of hard to push them. They are kind of finicky and a little bit hard to operate. When it comes to storage, there's a little cubby beneath the climate controls, 2 cup holders down here, as well as phone charging pad and a good sized center console with 2 USB ports. There's also a nice center pass-through, which is something that I love to see in vehicles. The shifter is an electronic style and is finished in gloss black. Push up for reverse and that will bring up a very high resolution backup camera with a 360 view. There are multiple different angles to choose from, and this is one of the things that I love about GM vehicles. Their cameras are so high resolution. Up top with the technology package, you will find a digital rearview mirror and a large panoramic sunroof. But now let's go ahead and take this Cadillac XT6 out for a spin. Alright, we are behind the wheel in the 2025 Cadillac XT6 Premium Luxury, soon being replaced by the Vistic, which is an electric vehicle. Let's go ahead and talk about the powertrain. This car comes with 2 engine options. On the base model, you will find a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine making 237 horsepower. I highly recommend not getting that powertrain because it just isn't really befitting of a luxury vehicle. If you choose the Premium Luxury or the Sports, you will find this, a 3.6-liter naturally aspirated V6. That makes 310 horsepower and 271 pound-feet of torque. That is made into a 9-speed automatic transmission, and the fuel economy isn't amazing at 17 mpg in the city, 24 on the highway, and 21 combined. This is definitely the engine to have because it sounds amazing and offers plenty of power. We will be doing an acceleration test a little bit later in the video. One thing to mention is that there is no high-performance version of the XT6, you can only get a looks package with the Sport model. Now this car does 0 to 60 in about 6.5 seconds, which is not bad at all for the segment, but compared to the new Vistic, which is replacing this vehicle, that does 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. Now for around town driving, this car is quite pleasant to drive. The ride quality is good, and I think part of that comes from not having obnoxiously large wheels. You can choose between having 19s, 20s, which we have today, or 21s. Now, I'm not saying that the Vistic's ride quality is bad because I haven't been in it, but you are locked into 22s or 23s. I think that is a little bit large for this segment. Also, this is a great size for this segment. At 198 inches long, it is a full 14 inches shorter than the Escalade, and you will definitely notice the difference. It is very maneuverable, the visibility is great, and of course you have the amazing camera system to help you see around. So I think you will have no problem with maneuverability and everyday driving in the city. Compared to the Escalade does feel like a much larger car, and for some people they might like that, but if you are in a tight parking lot, this is going to be more ideal. Also, there are some cars in the segment like the Lexus TX that are a little bit large to be considered a mid-sized SUV. I think this is a perfect size. Now let's see about the acceleration test. Wow, overall, this car is no slouch at all and the V6 does sound good. It is nice to be in a 3-row crossover that has a V6. Now that we're on the highway, let's discuss highway driving dynamics. Ride quality is the same as the city. It doesn't have any adaptive dampers or anything, so it's not really going to be changing, but I would still say that the ride quality is excellent. When it comes to wind noise, there is a fair bit of wind noise entering the cabin, but it shouldn't be too disruptive. I'm not going to say that this is the quietest vehicle in the segment, I would just say it's somewhere in the middle. Now that is kind of the theme with this vehicle. It is just an average choice for the segment, and I'm not saying that this is a bad thing because this car is very underrated and just an excellent all-around SUV, but there really isn't any aspect of it that shines above the rest of the competitors. When it comes to driver assistance tech, there is quite a bit that you can get on this vehicle. This is kind of the one thing that isn't really outdated about this car. You can get Super Cruise, which is arguably the best hands-free driving system on the market right now. This car does not have it, but essentially, the car will basically drive itself, of course with you watching it. It can also change lanes around slower traffic, which is super cool. Out of all the systems that I've tested, this is definitely the most reliable and I think the safest. Also, if your set speed is higher than what the traffic is going in front of you, the car can automatically change lanes around it. For a road trip, I think this car would be a pretty good option. It is pretty comfortable, and if you get the Super Cruise, that is going to take a lot of fatigue off of driving. If you have a long commute or go on long road trips often, that is definitely a box that you need to be checking. By the way, it is about $3,000 for the package, and then it is free for 3 years, and then you have to start paying about $20 a month. I think for the system and for how good it is definitely worth it. Now, there isn't a ton of space behind the third row, which is kind of the Achilles heel of this car. Otherwise, it is an excellent all-around SUV. Also, I was surprised for the size of vehicle that this is, the third row is not uncomfortable. Yes, my knees are kind of in my face, but if you are under 5'5", you will totally be comfortable back there. It isn't the class-leading third row like what is found in the Lexus TX, but that car is a lot bigger than this one, and for the size of vehicle that this is, it is very impressive. When it comes to handling, this car handles pretty well. There is a good amount of body roll, but this car will give you a pretty secure feeling in case you have to make an emergency maneuver. It is definitely better, in my opinion, than the Escalade when it comes to handling. This car also has a 9-speed automatic transmission, and it is super smooth. I do not feel the shifts at all, and I think it is an excellent transmission. Now the Vistic, of course, is electric, so there is no transmission in that, and that is just a smooth electric car. I think that if you want a high-value, mid-size 3-row SUV, the XT6 is an excellent option. It is an excellent all-around SUV, even though some parts of it, like the technology, are a little bit dated. However, if you want Cadillac's newly updated version, definitely go ahead and check out the Vistic because that is also an amazing vehicle. However, keep in mind that that car starts at about $80,000, whereas this car starts at $50,000. But that is going to wrap up this video on the 2025 Cadillac XT6 Premium Luxury. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.